the talk of St. Louis. Powered by STL Medical Weight Loss. See the Dr. Joe difference at stlmedweightloss.com.
Good morning and welcome to the Frank and Jill Show on the Big 550 KTRS. If you'd like to be a part of the program, Royal Banks of Missouri text line 84126. You can watch us on YouTube and Facebook. Dr. Rick is going to join us at 10:30, and Joe Holloman is going to join us at 11. Did you see the one note that Dr. Rick sent us, how it's not a good idea to be going to the bathroom and scrolling through your phone?
Yeah, and there is so much good stuff today. There's a new bug that is now spreading disease like crazy, including in states like Missouri. We're going to talk about that. He's going to get us up to date on flu shots and when and what we should be doing with all that stuff with things changing all the time. It's going to be a good one to tune into.
But since the phones have replaced the newspaper, I wonder how many people are guilty of that, of going through their phone while they are in the restroom.
Have you ever had the dreaded experience of the phone dropping into the toilet? It's the worst.
It's the worst. Joe Young, who we had this retirement for party on over the weekend, the great photographer who was in.
Did you MC that, by the way?
I did. Well, it's not, just talk for a minute. So, but anyway, he did one of the most embarrassing things to me. I was by the elevator at Channel 5, and there were a bunch of young female reporters by the elevator, and I had a USA Today sports section in my hand. And I hit the elevator door, and he yells across the room, "Frank, you're going up to the reading room, huh?" Oh, my gosh, Joe, you're killing me. He would do things like that.
But were you?
I was.
He was just reporting the news.
Yes.
Hey, I'm really excited for today, not only because we have an excellent show, but tonight I get to go see a preview of the new Downton Abbey film, which is the finale, the last one that's ever going to be made. And we have a chance to give away 5 sets of tickets to this.
Wow.
If you would like to go to a preview tonight, and it's at the B&B Creve Coeur 10, and if you're available at 7 p.m. to do this and you are interested in doing that, all you have to do right now is text in your name and email address to the Royal Banks of Missouri text line 84126. Name, email address to the Royal Banks of Missouri text line 84126. And the first 5 of you to do that, I will be emailing you back with your passes to go see the Downton.
And you'll be there.
And I'm
So
going to
you'll
be
signing
there
autographs,
tonight.
taking pictures?
I won't be signing autographs, but I hope everybody comes up and says hi to me because I really want to meet you. But again, Royal Banks of Missouri text line 84126. First 5 people to give me your name and email address. You can go see the Downton Abbey preview. I will be there tonight. I am really looking forward to it. John has been out of town for a little while, so I think I have talked him into, out of guilt, coming along with me.
You can at least pick him up at the airport this time?
No, I did not.
Yeah, I'll meet you at the theater. Get a cab. For those of us who are not really that familiar with this, what about the popularity? How popular is it?
It's really, really popular. Really? It was by far one of the most popular things that was ever in PBS history. And then it became a phenomenon that then led to huge tourism for a number of years. I know multiple people that went over on Downton Abbey tours. And then, of course, the movies have been fairly popular. I will say, Lynn Venhouse did see a preview about a week ago. She is a big Downton Abbey fan, as I am, and she said the movie was good, and that's kind of how she said it.
Oh.
So the expectations are not high that it's going to be the best ever in the whole wide world, but I'm still excited. I really absolutely love it. Okay, guys, it looks like we have our winners. So those of you who are continuing to email or to send it in, we've got
there's a lot of interest.
Way more
Everybody
than unfortunately we can give
tickets.
out. But the first 5 who got yours in, I will be getting back to you by this afternoon with your passes and details.
All right, another thing that's about to be unveiled is this Charlie Sheen documentary, and all of the sordid details are coming out, Jill, about his life. I mean, we knew it was a pretty sordid life to begin with, but I'm wondering, what's your interest level in it?
I have some mixed interest because I think he is an accomplished actor. He comes from a very interesting family. He's had some comebacks, which I think I like, a story of redemption and comeback. And if I'm being honest, it's kind of sordid, and so that's kind of fun too. I mean, there's a little bit of, what would you call that, prurient interest, I guess, in some of the the things that have just made his life definitely different. When it comes to those kind of documentaries, a lot of it has to do with how honest, because the people behind them are usually part of the production team. So how honest are they willing to be about life?
Yeah. And I got to tell you, from all reports, this is going to make Billy Joel look like a mass at Our Lady of the Pillar.
Okay.
I mean, and certainly he's lived a lot more of a nutty lifestyle than anybody. I mean, and boy, all these stories are popping out about the crack cocaine, the sexual episodes, the beating of the wife. And I mean, it's just, I don't even know, because I did like 2.5 Men, and I've liked his role. I mean, he was really funny. You can't deny that. Mm-hmm. And by the way, John Cryer's worth $70 million, so he did well for two. But gosh, I don't even know. I was really excited initially, and then I'm hearing all this stuff. Oh my goodness!
Do you think you're gonna feel like you need to take a shower after you watch it?
Yes. Oh gosh, yeah.
Yeah. Well, maybe it's our duty to preview it at least, and then we can review. I'd be interested to see what you guys think as well on the Royal Banks of Missouri text line 84126. Big show coming up for you, so we will be right back after these messages.
Some of my fondest memories as a kid is heading down to the hardware store. You had to pick up a couple of nails, a couple of screws, maybe a gallon of paint, whatever it may be, right? It was your friendly neighborhood hardware store. Well, those don't exist anymore in St. Louis, except for Schnarr's Hardware. They have 2 locations in Webster Groves and in Clayton Road in Ladue. Schnarr's Hardware is that place where you go in and you can get that bucket of paint, you can get a couple screws. The advice is always free. And the one thing about Schnarr's Hardware that every single family hardware store used to have, and that is the smell. It smells like a hardware store. It's got the selection. I don't know how they do it. It's a small store, but they got everything you ever need. They got the paint. They got paint matching. They've got big green eggs. They've got screws and nails and everything a hardware store should have. Schnarr's Hardware, 2 locations, 1 great hardware store. Schnarr's Hardware, we'll see you there.
The big, beautiful tax bill just passed. Do you know how these changes will affect your financial plan? What changes has your financial advisor made to take advantage of these opportunities before they expire? Join me, Kevin Lloyd, for my next tax workshop, 314-641-1010. Learn how these changes can benefit you and your family. 314-641-1010.
Securities and advisory services offered through LPLA, registered investment advisor, member FINRA, SIPC.
All right, so you're looking for a new front door, maybe to change the style up a little bit. Maybe you've got some windows that are leaking and aren't very energy efficient, and you'd like to get some new ones. And so you start looking for a window company. Let me tell you about my friend and my good neighbor, Larry Thornton. He's been selling windows and doors in St. Louis for 37 years. He has access to all the quality windows and all the quality doors. And unlike so many other window companies, it's not a marketing game. Buy one, get the next 7 free. At the window store, you buy one window, you get one window. But when you compare apples to apples, right, you'll notice that the window store has much better pricing. There is no hard sell. They're not going to stand in the middle of your living room demanding you sign on the dotted line. For 37 years, they've beat everybody on quality, on price, on customer service. If you need windows or doors, that's why you need to call my neighbor, Larry, or his son, Joe, 314-739-0002, or wswindow.net.
Look at our alums, the contributions that they have made throughout industries in the St. Louis region.
Terry Freerix, a graduate of the University of Missouri, St. Louis.
UMSL is embedded in the fabric of the St. Louis community. We're hands-on, and when our students graduate, they are definitely career ready, but maybe more importantly, they're career confident.
More is what moves us. Find your more at more.umsl.edu.
You can pretty much find a job anywhere, but finding a lifelong career can be much more difficult. You like working with your hands? Working in different environments? Having options for different kinds of work within your career? Then the Construction Craft Laborers Union of Missouri may be for you. Don't just settle for a job. Build a career. Build a future. Build a legacy. Go to buildunion.com for more information. That's buildunion.com.
If you're looking for your next home, think of First Community. Our Smart Choice Home Loan offers a 30-year fixed rate of just 6.781% APR to qualified borrowers. And you only need a down payment of 10%. Whether it's your first home, your forever home, or even a vacation home, be smart with a Smart Choice loan from First Community. For all your savings and all your loans. Must qualify for membership. For terms and conditions, call toll-free 1-888-642-7969. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing lender.
And now the opening dialogue with Frank and Jill on the Big 550 KTRS. Powered by Worldwide Technology Raceway.
All right, thought one. I've always thought that the two things that people don't cut back on is youth, sports and education, and dog care. You may cut back on what you spend on yourself, even your spouse, your friends. I'm not saying you won't spend, but you kind of watch it closely. There's nothing wrong with that. But if it's your child and it's a special school they want to attend, a select sport, a summer camp, a tutor, oh, I have to do it for my kids. They can't get that scholarship in academics or athletics. You want the best for them and your dog. You could purchase the dog for $700 or maybe get the puppy from a rescue. And 2 years in, the puppy needs surgery for $2,000 and you're in. So Saturday we wake up and Reggie's not right. He's the 3-year-old Cavapoo with a mad vertical jump, a zest for life and food. And I think of all the living creatures in this world, humans included, he's tied for first in terms of things I love. Monique takes him to the emergency room. They do all these tests. And fortunately, they didn't find anything yet. But I'm not getting the greeting. He's moping. The stomach is swollen. And when you pick him up at times, he squeals.
Oh.
The good thing he's eating, Monique makes some scrambled eggs for protein for breakfast and for dinner. Then she told me the price on Saturday. Crazy, crazy. I think I should have opened up an animal hospital. But you know what? I don't care. I would pay double of that stupid price to have him for a dozen more years. Double. Dogs and kids, the things you don't cut back on. I wish I would have gone to veterinarian school. Question, how many people out there have animal insurance and how expensive is it? But the latest is I finally called the doctor myself about an hour ago. Fortunately, he's a big sports fan. So Monique just dropped him off, and I'm going to go over there right after the show. But we'll see what happens.
Oh, darn. I'm so sorry. And those kind of, not quite sure what it is. It's so, I completely sympathize because it's so hard because they can't tell you what's going on. But there's such a difference in the personality when something isn't right. We did finally break down on, because we've had, multiple pets through the years. And I do not have pet insurance for our dog, our aging dog, which we may come to regret. But I did get it when we got the cat because I thought.
Like, what do you think you paid? Do you have any idea?
Yeah, I think it's $12.95 a month.
Oh, that's nothing. Yeah.
And then you get a little discount. It doesn't cover everything, but I figure we had a couple of those biggies with Frankie, some surgery that was needed that just really hit the pocketbook. And I thought if that cuts that even by half, it'll pay for itself over time.
Somebody asking he needs an x-ray. He had 2 of them on Saturday. Yep. So.
Yeah, because you never know with dogs. They're just so notorious for eating stuff they find outside. And when you can't tell what it is, we had to do pay once with our beagle for a stomach pump, which, by the way,
Costco
very expensive.
Offers pet insurance. I bet that's a pretty good rate. Did you buy yours from Costco?
I didn't.
Okay.
I got it through the rescue place where we got our cat from. Actually has some kind of an agreement where they can advertise pet insurance. You're the expert on this.
I know Progressive actually lets you bundle it up with your other insurances.
Really?
Like car, home, and pet. If you want to get it with that.
And of course, Connor co-hosts the show that we have on the weekends here at KTRS with Dr. Lang, the veterinarian. Has he ever brought up the subject of pet insurance?
He has. He says he would. I'm trying to remember the percentage he gave. I think he said he thinks 5% of people that come in actually have pet insurance, although it helps. So he would like it to be higher. So.
Oh, okay, because he thinks it makes people make decisions that are not based purely on finances. Yeah, Dr. Lang on it's Animal Talk. By the way, very good show. I highly recommend it. Well, if you attended a college fraternity party anytime in the last, let's say, 50 years, chances are good you might have sampled the punch. And chances are pretty much 100% that that punch was made with an extraordinarily strong alcohol called Everclear. You may not know, I did not know until very recently, as in I think I might have been today years old, that Everclear is actually a St. Louis-based product from the spirits brand Luxco. A law student now says they were badly burned at a college party when somebody threw Everclear on a fire. I mean, right there, I'm wondering, isn't that a reasonable assumption of risk? But anyway, as the attorney for the victim tells it, back in the day, Everclear was sold with a prominent warning label, urging people not to apply it near an open flame and keeping it from fire. Then the redesign, the label had a much smaller warning. They are claiming that led to this situation, including some videos on their site of using Everclear in things like Cherry Jubilee, which is, of course, a dessert that is lit on fire. Luxco, by the way, has asked the judge to dismiss this suit. In doing a little research for this, I was interested to know that Everclear is used as an ingredient all over social media sites like TikTok for homemade disinfectants because it's got such high alcohol content that it can be used for those things as well. But I've certainly heard of Everclear in my lifetime. I did not realize of the St. Louis connection until this came out.
Yeah, I didn't know that either. That's good stuff.
I mean, you're supposed to like mix it, right?
I would think so.
You're not supposed to drink it on your own.
Or
like,
have it near anything flammable.
It's 190 proof. It's not like you're just pouring it in a shot glass.
Yes, as my dear father would have said, it'll put hair on your chest, for sure.
All right, thought two. The St. Louis Cardinals are arguably the most discussed business in St. Louis. Every year, let's face it, between 2 and 3 million go to their games, including Jill on Saturday. Their TV ratings, despite some down years, have always been great. So I think the most asked question very shortly will be, does the manager keep his job? They will likely finish in 4th place, maybe under 500, and there's a new guy about to take over named Chaim Bloom, who has really not worked with Ali in the past. So it would be not shocking if he's let go. But I'm here to say I would keep Ali. And Whitey and Tony would not be in a much better position with this roster. He doesn't have a starter with an earned run average under 4. He doesn't have an outfielder with 20 home runs. And at times he started an outfield where all 3 players are hitting 227. And the roster composition, they got a bunch of the same guys. Andy Van Slyke was with us yesterday. He said they got 5 guys who should be first basemen or DHs. So they got too much redundancy. So it's a bad roster. Ali didn't put it together. He's kept them competitive. He communicates well. He works like a dog. No reason he should lose his job. But I would not shock me if he is. But that will be the big question in St. Louis in October as soon as this season ends.
Connor, you made a really good point recently about kind of our expectations and as Cardinals fans compared to where the Cardinals actually are this season.
You know, sometimes people talk about them like they're in like dead last and they're like the Rockies, but They were 500 before yesterday, and now they're 1 game below 500. They're not the worst team in the league, like some people discuss them like. That's it.
I think that's very well said too. Although they are getting a little press this morning because I think we're one of the only 2 teams that does not have a Grand Slam home run this season. The Royals.
Well, they don't hit that many home runs.
Yeah,
so
we hope before the end, before it's all over, at least. They don't have to be on that list by the end of the season. So I had my annual heart checkup yesterday, echocardiogram, stress test, just routine because of my family's, let's say, sketchy cardiac history. And I have to tell you, sitting there watching my heartbeat in 3D on the screen, hearing it pump blood in real time as the tech moved the wand across my chest, it kind of stopped me in my tracks. I take this little muscle for granted, but wow, it never takes really a second off. Day and night, keeping me alive, no reminders, no to-do list, just steady work. It really did make me think about how miraculous it is just sitting here, sipping my tea, cruising down 40 and 270 today, talking to all of you thanks to that thump ribbon. Frank might say it is definitely an MVP performance, first team all heart. The last time, have you guys ever pay attention or just have that moment that hits you? It's like, wow, we've got these things in our bodies that are just keeping things moving along. Way too easy to take for granted until something goes awry. Fortunately, nothing awry, but it just really made me think.
So where were you?
Just down at Washington University South County campus.
And why did you have the
Because our family has some pretty significant issues with things like arrhythmias and atrial fibrillation, and so mid-50s, when you list that on your cardiac history, they start to say we want to make sure that we keep an eye on things like that.
Yeah.
So all's well. Everything was looking good. I got just a couple of little tiny issues, but nothing big.
So do you come away with like these heart doctors? None of them are overpaid. They deserve every penny they get.
I really, yeah. I mean, they're electricians, they're chemists, they're all the different things you have to understand to really understand the working of the heart, of working mechanism of the heart. It is pretty amazing and pretty integral.
So Monique, for 20 years, she was a perfusionist where they operate heart-lung machines during open heart surgery.
Wow.
And I was amazed at the, not casual, but the atmosphere she would tell me about during these major heart surgeries, that doctors would be playing like B.B. King in the background, and just how cool and relaxed they were, and how skilled they have to be with their fingers, and just, I mean, it's just amazing.
Yeah, she has a degree of just respect for them that I don't think any of the rest of us can possibly. I've been back when I was a health reporter, I got to sit in on a couple of heart transplant surgeries. It's miraculous, man.
All right, thought three. These are quickies. The Tom Cruise breakfast before all of his physical scenes in Mission Impossible. Listen to this. Sausage, almost a dozen eggs, bacon and toast, coffee and fluids. I read this to Monique last night. I said, I'd like to try it. So we had a humongous breakfast today, but not a dozen eggs. I don't know how anybody could eat a dozen eggs. Normally, I kind of blow off breakfast, maybe a slice of wheat toast. How about all of you? Are you guys pounding down breakfasts like Tom Cruise? Hey, congratulations. It just became official about 2 hours ago. The pride of Lutheran South and Mizzou star Cody Schrader has signed a contract with the Jacksonville Jaguars. He'll be on the NFL roster. He's off the practice squad of the Los Angeles Rams, and now he's on an NFL squad. That's a big difference in money for Cody Schrader. And not a sponsor, but a plug. And I've said this before, Ms. in Maine. I got to tell you, in terms of things that have improved most in my lifetime, the TV screen, cars, and clothes.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I am flying around all weekend, and if I were in those clothes that I wore back in the 80s and 90s and early 2000s, the big uncomfortable pants, you know, I couldn't run back and forth from the track to the golf course. Men, this is a public service for you. Go to the website. I feel like I'm in gym clothes all day, and they're kind of stylish. I remember those pleated khakis, thick and ugly wool and heavy cotton. It's like night and day. I'm
you
a big
spell
fan
it
of
for us.
Mizzen, Maine.
Okay, because when you've mentioned it once before, we got a ton of your fans
Both
who
of them.
love the way you dress. Say, come on, you got to tell us what that is. So you'll look up the spelling. And I do want to, in terms of your pet insurance question, people say they paid, it looks like on here, anywhere from $10 or $11 all the way to $45. They say they get discounts on things, $45 a month for older dogs, and they say they get discounts on everything from the flea medicine. Many people confirming all kinds of surgeries from $7,000 to $1,200 to $11,000 here on the list, it looks like, and everybody says wouldn't think about it any other way because they're just so darn special. Somebody here saying, two people saying Everclear is good for cold sores. Good to know. And Mary Lynn telling us it's a good cleaning agent as well. Final thought for me, just a real bit of nostalgia. Are you guys old enough to remember that TV commercial that asked the question, how many licks does it take to get to the center of a Tootsie Pop? 55 years later. 55 years. No wonder. It's been around for most of my life. They have remade the classic with fresh animation and voice tracks. Here it is. I mean, doesn't it take you back?
That is good.
Do you remember that as well as
yeah.
I do? For sure. I mean, I think it was a staple on Saturday morning TV.
This is also like a 1-to-1 remake of the commercial, right?
Yeah.
Is there anything different?
They refreshed the animation.
It's just different people.
Yeah.
I mean, the animation is different, but I mean, in terms of what the commercial actually is, it's the exact same.
It's exactly how I remember it, so I really do think so. And the creative team said, being entrusted with such a beloved piece of culture, we wanted to respect the heritage while modernizing it for the next generations. I imagine a lot of grandparents are going to be nostalgic and maybe picking up some Tootsie Pops for the grandkids just out of that. I'm curious, on the Royal Banks of Missouri text line, 84126, I talked about this being one of those iconic commercials that you can't forget. What are some of those commercials that were just so prolific throughout, let's say, the 60s, 70s, 80s, that you still think of them every once in a while, even if they're no longer around in their original form? I would love to hear from you guys.
Response on the text line. The Mean Joe Green Coca-Cola commercial, "Hey kid, catch." That may be one of the more famous ones. Bob Euchre, "I'm in the front row."
Mm-hmm. The Charmin commercials.
Oh, yes.
Please don't squeeze the Charmin. How about Mrs. Olson, Maxwell House?
Mrs. Olson. Oh, my gosh, yes.
I mean, she was so famous that the little tiny town she's from a little, I think there was a Danish heritage town, a tiny little town in Iowa, and you'd come into town and the big sign would say, birthplace of Mrs. Olson from the commercials. Yeah, she was iconic.
Be Like Mike, the Michael Jordan stuff.
Yeah.
The Clydesdales are always big time. So
we pay attention, of course, to the Budweiser ones as well. Well, this commercial will probably not stand in infamy or in legacy history, but it's one that I hope you'll pay attention to anyway, and that's because it could help you live much more comfortably in your retirement years with that retirement nest egg, and that is Capital Advisory Group. Jeff Zufall. Jeff and his team stay on top of what is happening in the markets, what is happening with consumer prices, and all of those things to really help you understand in an in-depth way what exactly you need to do to make sure that you have the nest egg to support you comfortably in your retirement years. He is just one of those, sometimes people have been doing this business for a long time, they tend to coast. Jeff's the opposite of that. He's always thinking growth. He's always saying, what do we need to be thinking about in the constantly changing economy and world we live in? And one of the reasons he is above the fray when it comes to helping you with your money, he's a senior tax strategist. So he thinks not only in terms of growing your money and what it can do in the stock market and the bond market, in all of the different ways that you can save and preserve money and then have it usable in your retirement years. He wants to make sure that you don't overpay on your taxes as well. Capital Advisory, grp.com. Jeff Zufall, 636-394-5524.
And now, KTRS weather from the John Beal Roofing Weather Desk.
Our stretch of fall-like weather has come to an end. We have more cloud cover present this morning. That will lead to mostly sunny skies by the afternoon, and temperatures today warmer with a high of 82 degrees. Overnight tonight, we fall back into the 60s, and we continue with the warm-up beginning tomorrow and through the weekend. We have many 90s in the forecast ahead. It stays dry. With your first alert forecast, I'm meteorologist Leah Hill for the Big 550 KTRS.
John Beal Roofing is the home of the lowest price roofing guarantee. Get a free estimate today at johnbealroofing.com.
At Maryville University, we power dreams, not just degrees. For nearly 150 years, we've empowered graduates to build successful careers. At Maryville, expect a rigorous, technology-driven, mentor-inspired education in a diverse and inclusive learning environment. We help you take it to the next level, no matter what field you choose. Now is the time to turn your ambition into action and transform your dream into reality. Start your journey at maryville.edu.
Since 1974, Permajack of St. Louis has been helping residential and commercial owners protect their biggest investment. From successfully solving foundation structural problems to making sure basements remain dry, Permajack has performed tens of thousands of projects on both sides of the river, utilizing state-of-the-art technology, techniques, and equipment. Permajack of St. Louis has done it with honesty and integrity, never never recommending anything outside of what you really need. For many repairs, Permajack provides a transferable life of structure warranty, all while Permajack of St. Louis has earned a BBB A+ rating and accreditation. For foundation settlement, bowed or buckling walls, cracks in your foundation, walls or bricks, or basement waterproofing, choose the hometown family-owned team at Permajack of St. Louis. Schedule your free inspection and estimate at permajackofstlewis.com. That's permajackofstlewis.com. Permajack, solid as rock.
Missouri has one of the best state park systems in the country, as well as beautiful community parks throughout the state. Now, our state is on track to have some of the most nutritious and delicious park foods. Through the MU Extension Eat Smart in Parks program, visitors can get healthy foods and beverage choices to boost their health and energy while out enjoying the great outdoors. Park visitors, look for healthy choices at park concession stands. Park managers, learn how to offer this tasty option to your visitors at muext.us/eatsmartinparks.
Repairing chimneys, walkways, porches, foundations, entire homes, anything to do with brick or stone, you need a tuck pointer you can trust, and that, of course, is Morelli. Morelli is a family-run business started in 1991, and they're only as good as their last customer. That's why when you check out the reviews online at MorelliTuckPointing.com, you'll notice that they're actual customers who are singing the praises of Morelli. So if you need a tuck pointer, you need Morelli. 314-645-1387 or MorelliTuckPointing.com.
Football is back, which means Dogtown is back. Dogtown Pizza, that is. And with 12 games on Mizzou's upcoming football schedule, you can have a different pizza every game. Kick off the season with a bacon, have a hot chicken on homecoming, and save that pepperoni peppercini, my favorite, for Arkansas. It's football season, and nothing goes better with the pigskin than a hot Dogtown Pizza. Let's cheer on those Missouri Tigers. M-I-Z... D-O-G, Dogtown Pizza, and dogtownpizza.com.
All right, welcome back. On Tuesdays, we chat with our friend Dr. Rick. So much to discuss today. And Dr. Rick, one of the things that kind of jumped out at me, because sometimes people do this, they look at things while they're in the restroom on their phone, and that's not a good thing to do. Tell me about it.
Yeah, so this is a terrible thing to do, and I got to tell you, I'm probably worst offender. You get 2 minutes of quiet time. You go, hey, I'll check my email or my text or whatever. But sitting on the toilet increases your lower colon pressure or your rectal pressure. I don't want to get too graphic here, and is going to definitely increase your chances of having hemorrhoids. So if you've ever had a hemorrhoid before, the last thing you want to do is spend an extra, 5 minutes sitting on the toilet, because that's just a very bad position. All the blood is rushing right to your rectum or your butt, and it's going to engorge those veins, and you're going to get hemorrhoids. So, and since this article came out, I must have had like 30 people call me and go, oh, that's why I'm getting hemorrhoids. I sit there for 40 minutes on the toilet. Well, everybody out there, don't do that. Do your thing, get off, and then go sit on a nice couch or your chair. But if you think of the round pressure and all the blood getting right to the bad spot, that's where your hemorrhoids are.
Wow, that's an interesting one. I think useful, even though it's a big topic for morning talk. This has caught my eye now. A couple of headlines around the country, Dr. Rick, about this kissing bug, which gives people what's called a kissing bug disease or Chagas disease. And Missouri is one of the states where it's been found. What in the heck?
Well, this is an epidemic. This is no joke. So Chagas disease basically is a parasite. And it's called a kissing bug because these bugs bite you on the face. It's no real kissing bug. It's just like a mosquito or any parasite. And what's going to happen is if you get bit by one of these things, you usually go through a period of, hey, I don't feel too bad, and then you get really sick. And it's become an endemic problem in the South. So Texas, and it's working its way north. Obviously, Missouri's kind of in the middle, so it's kind of going from south to north. And in the South, it has become a huge problem. So it would be akin to malaria. That's how severe this disease is. There's 2 drugs for it. And if you think that you've been bit by a bug and you're not sure, go to your doctor. And the reason is the earlier you treat it, the better. But we're going to be hearing more and more about this. And medical, we've been hearing, the incidence has gone way, way up. So again, If you get bit on the face, because not many bugs will bite you on the face, most mosquitoes will bite you on the leg, and you start to feel sick, and you think, hey, maybe I got something, you need to go to your doctor right away. No jacking around.
All right. I think you probably sent this article to me because of Monique, but the dangers of pickleball, not just orthopedically, but people being obsessed with style.
Well, I mean, so pickleball's taken the country by storm, and it's the perfect, it's the perfect storm, really. So you have some people playing, they're a little out of shape, they've never really been all athletic, but they can play pickleball, and it's fun, and it's good exercise, and the injuries have gone through the roof. Achilles tendon, tennis elbow, shoulder problems, and people falling, and now it's just become this fashion statement. So these people are getting rackets that are the same color as their shoes. Unfortunately, the shoes aren't very good shoes, so we're seeing a lot of foot and ankle injuries. But, everybody just wants to know, when can I get back and play, pickleball? I got to go play. I had a girl the other day, used to work for me. Knee is huge, looks like a volleyball. The thing is swollen, and she goes, I have to play on Sunday. I said, I can't use her name. I almost did. So-and-so, can you walk upstairs? She goes, I can't walk anywhere. I said, well, how are you going to play pickleball if you can't walk? She goes, I got to play. So, no, people are obsessed with pickleball. And you know what? Get in shape. Try to lose a little weight. Think about it as any sport. Don't just go out there and play and get hurt.
Yeah, good advice. And I mean, those paddles that do match your shoes are awfully cute, but I guess we need to be thinking function over form on that for sure. We've gotten some questions off and on, and wanted to make sure we covered this because we're getting into that time of year. When should people start getting their flu shots? Who should be getting a COVID shot? Is it going to be the kind of thing where people who are in the recommended demographic to get it need a prescription? Help us understand what's really going on with all this.
Well, Jill, this is a tough problem right now because everything's in flux. The government has completely changed their position. It used to be all COVID shots were covered, and that's not the case anymore. So people need to check on their insurance and check how much it's going to be. And it's not, it used to be just walked into wherever, Walgreens, CVS, and you got an injection. That's not the case anymore. So the recommendation is everybody over the age of 6 months old get a COVID shot. And I can't 100% agree with that. The medicine or the literature doesn't support that. So I think anybody over the age of 55 or people that are immunocompromised, have diabetes, have lung disease, have had chemotherapy in the past, et cetera, they should all get a COVID shot. I think flu shot is a completely different deal. The flu shot should usually get it September, October, and I think, again, anybody who's had a problem with the flu in the past should get a flu shot, and I think kids should get a flu shot. Normally kids get 2 shots for their first dose, and usually you get that early on, 3-4 years old, and it's not the worst idea to get an influenza shot. But I think everybody out there, again, people who are immunocompromised, people who are generally sick should get a flu shot. I'm much more happy with flu shots than I am with COVID shots. I think the COVID shots haven't really proved to be that effective. I think they're very helpful if you're going to be very sick if you get COVID, where I think the flu shot's the flu shot. I think it's very reasonable to get. I don't think it's a real problem. But the people that really should get it are older people, number one, and people that have some predisposition to illness, lung disease, diabetes, etc.
Well, what if you're a perfectly healthy, say, 60-year-old woman or 60-year-old man? Would you recommend the COVID shot?
I would not, no. And personally, I've not done that. I did everything, early on, we got our shots, et cetera, and I have negated getting the COVID shot since then, mostly because if you read the literature, it just isn't that effective. And right now, getting COVID, it's not great, but this big rash of deaths and people in the hospital, we're just not seeing that. People just aren't getting that sick. They're getting like the flu.
Somebody texting in, the doctor has to write a book, and you have written a book. Tell our listening audience about that.
Well, my book is completely different. My book was called How to Raise an Athlete, and it was 35 years of dealing with coaches, parents, and kind of walking people through how you raise your kid to be a great athlete without having them come in, when they're 14 years old and telling you they never want to go back to the gym or be a gymnast the rest of their life, and that mom and dad are crazy. So I think the book that I have written is kind of a handbook for parents how to raise their kids if they want them to be athletes. And, we sold a zillion copies. This thing was a bestseller on Amazon. And still people come in and they say, hey, this was really good advice. But, the real truth, the real one sentence is, let your kids do what they want to do. Don't pressure them. Albert Pujols isn't living in your basement. Your kid's not going to grow up to make, $50 million a year. So don't push that way, and make it fun for them.
Good stuff. We have on the Royal Banks of Missouri text line, I want to make sure we get this in before we let you go, a question about slippery rib. What is it and what can be done about it?
Well, it's a problem. And so basically it's an instability pattern in what's called the costochondral area, the area where your rib attaches to the chest wall, and the rib slips in and out. And normally what you would do for that is something called an exosome stem cell injection right into the cartilage to kind of increase the scar tissue and stop the rib from slipping. But if the rib continues to be unstable, eventually what you have to do is basically fuse the rib, which is not common. Usually it gets better with an injection. But if you're continuing having the rib click in and out, I would be a little more aggressive than just therapy or medicine, and I would get it injected.
One more, Dr. Rick, I'm a 48-year-old female starting premenopause, wondering what your thoughts are on hormone therapy.
So, this whole subject, it's a great question. Now, this whole subject has completely changed dynamics. It used to be, they're terrible. And then I think people realize that getting your hormones back in balance are a must. So I am a big fan, and I'm going to say something everyone can argue with, but I think estrogen replacement and low-dose testosterone, if your testosterone is low, and, we're not making you a guy, we're just replacing some elements so you don't lose muscle mass and you get stability. And I think hormone replacement is critical, and I think, again, 10 years ago, everybody was anti-hormone replacement, and the literature just wasn't really very accurate. But the truth of the matter is, if you were vitamin D deficient, someone would say, hey, Frank, Jill, get some vitamin D. So why would you just let your hormone levels go to zero and think that that's okay? And it's not okay.
Good stuff, Dr. Rick. We'll talk next week. Thank you, sir.
Take care.
McKnight Place Assisted Living, of course, well known for featuring excellent care, luxury accommodations for active seniors. And one of the reasons they are so good is there's a lot of new players in town, right? This has become big business. The boomers have a huge population swell coming of people who will be entering that phase of life when assisted living, potentially skilled nursing care is going to be in the cards and the places they want to thrive. But the thing about McKnight Place is they've been doing it well, and yet keeping the amenities, the experience of living there feeling so modern and fresh all the time. It's experience that counts, and it's making you feel like you are living in a dream for some people, because you get to have a beautifully cared for accommodations, things like laundry and yard work and paying for maintenance on new roofs, all gone once you make that move into McKnight Place Assisted Living. One of the things that they tell us, whether you're considering McKnight Place, Gates Work, Park Provence, is a lot of people make these decisions when somebody's in crisis. Maybe one member of a couple has had a fall or some type of a health crisis, and it's a really tough time to make good decisions. So rather than waiting for that to happen to you, why don't you start the conversation now, whether it's your parents, neighbors, friends, yourself, your spouse. Let's start having these conversations now. You will be very, very glad you are proactive on this front. McKnightPlace.com, 314-993-3333.
A message from the master. If you are looking for that one-of-a-kind gift this year, come on in to Newssetter's Fine Jewelers. Let Richard draw your future present for somebody you love. This special engraving lasts a lifetime. At the corner of Big Ben and Doherty Ferry or at wowdiamonds.com.
Don't look now, but the Stages season is just about over. But before they close up shop for the season, beautiful, the Carole King musical. Now at Stages, it starts September 19th through October 19th. For tickets, stages.stlewis.org.
Gingham's Homestyle Restaurant has been a staple in St. Charles for 35 years. Our comfortable, casual atmosphere offers some of the best comfort food you've ever had. Customers might know our delicious breakfast, but you can have whatever you want, anytime you want, with our full menu 24 hours a day. Nothing warms your heart like Gingham's famous vegetable soup, and we can cater your event, too. If you like homestyle food and great friendly service, you'll love Gingham's Restaurant in St. Charles. 636-946-0266 or ginghamsrestaurant.com.
It's Julie Buck here to tell you that the patio is open at Bishop's Post right next to Chesterfield Mall. Get your reservations in now and go to Bishop's Post. You will love it. Tell them Julie Buck sent you, bishopspost.com.
Hey, it's Heidi, and you know I love my RV, and one of my favorite spots is right here in our own backyard, Beyond the Trail RV Park in Defiance. And now, not only can you stay in your camper or tent, there are 2 tiny homes and 2 houses that are fully equipped. The other thing I love is you can walk up the hill to another fave, Defiance Ridge Vineyards. DefianceRidgeVineyards.com is where you can see the entire list. And to book a room, go to BeyondTheTrailRVPark.com.
There's a lot on the line in divorce. This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell, the largest family law firm in the country, with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. Divorce touches all areas of your life: your home, savings, retirement, and of course, kids. So when you find yourself facing divorce, you need a partner you can count on.
If you are facing divorce, contact Cordell & Cordell today at 1-855-GET-LEGAL. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. 600 Kelwood, St. Louis.
A big KTRS shout out to Lisi Lumber, family owned and family operated since 1872. Lisi Lumber has built the St. Louis metropolitan area. They've worked with builders and contractors and homeowners. They provide building materials from soup to nuts. 2 hardware stores in Belleville ready to serve you. Millwork, insulating material, wallboard, roofing materials, you name it, Lisi Lumber can help, because Lisi Lumber is just that much better. LisiLumber.com.
You're finally ready to renovate your home. Riverbend Kitchen and More is your BBB accredited project partner that is attentive and responsive to your vision from concept to completion. Riverbend specializes in kitchens and baths, but also bars, bookcases, cabinetry, countertops, and more. They work with homeowners, contractors, and developers. Proud supplier of Waypoint Living Spaces cabinets, as well as other quality cabinetry lines. Financing is available, conveniently located in Soulard, Alton, and Mascoutah. Call 314-314-7411. Online at riverbendkm.com.
You don't need to wait until it's cold outside to check your furnace. Beat the rush and save with Aldon's $79 Furnace Safety Check Special for new customers. And Aldon will make replacing your aging system a breeze. Get a $300 Aldon rebate off a new Daikin Fit furnace and pay as little as $273 per month, plus receive additional utility rebates if eligible. Aldon has been a leader in whole house indoor air quality since 1959. For details on these specials and to learn more about Daikin Fit systems, visit al-don.com.
Every day another adventure. Our greatest discoveries come when we stop searching. Beneath the endless sky, away from the stress of work, the answer to the ancient Zen mystery, the sound of one hand clapping. Take a trip in an RV from Byerly in Eureka.
For the rest of your life, you gotta be there. Byerly RV.
Stop feeling embarrassed about thinning hair and start looking and feeling your best with Hair Grow by New Nordic. Available online at Amazon, Walmart.com, and NewNordicUSA.com, or at your local CVS.
Mom, what do you always say?
There's nothing sadder than jewelry that sits in a drawer.
That's why we are proud to offer jewelry repair on site at Newssetter's Fine Jewelry. We know that your jewelry is important to you, and we take that part of our job very seriously. Visit us at Doherty Ferry in Big Bend or learn more at wowdiamonds.com.
This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell. Serving in the military requires great sacrifices, not just for one's country, but also for one's family. Not surprisingly, divorce for soldiers is especially difficult, and it raises a number of challenges that are peculiar to military divorce, things such as deployments, relocation, retirement benefits. So if you're a soldier facing such challenges, go to CordellCordell.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. 600 Kelwood, St. Louis. CordellCordell.com.
Welcome back. Wrapping up our first hour of the Frank and Jill Show. Lots of you I have loved, and I know Frank has too, hearing from so many of you on the Royal Banks of Missouri text line today. Frank, you were right. The question of what are those commercials that you remember from back in the day? I mean, more than we can possibly read here in the next hour, but Madge, you're soaking in it. Remember the Paul Olive?
Nobody's named Madge anymore, by the way.
I don't
Madge
think
and
so.
Hazel.
I kind of like it. Madge, I like all those. Yeah, Hazel, actually, there's a ton of people named Hazel.
Still?
It's a new, there's
Hazel's back?
John Krasinski and his wife have a daughter named Hazel. Julia Roberts has a daughter named Hazel, and there's more.
Don't you think when you hear the name Hazel, you think Hazel Booth?
I
the
do,
TV show?
but I think, people that are our kids' age don't have always the association with names that we do that were, grandparents' kind of names when we were kids. Where's the beef? Several of you.
Oh, yes, the little old lady.
Yeah, Plop Plop Fizz Fizz. That's good.
Alka-Seltzer.
Mr. Whipple and Charmin. We talked about that as well. Good ones. You guys are taking us back. How about the Big Macs? 2 all beef patties, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, onions on a sesame seed bun. Is that right?
Yeah.
They don't really use that one anymore.
They do not, but that was one that I think every human had, every kid anyway, had memorized.
When's the last time anybody in this room has had a Big Mac?
I don't remember.
It's not my order whenever I go there. So
what's your order?
Just a double cheeseburger.
Okay, well that's
a solid order.
I mean, I never wanted that extra bun in the middle. I thought it got in the way of the other stuff. But the sauce.
Yeah, you don't need. Well, it's just Thousand Island, but you don't need that extra bun. They should probably just get rid of that.
True. Life cereal. Let's get Mikey to try it. Mikey, he hates everything. That's a good one. Mr. Kool-Aid. Do you remember that? And doing the Kool-Aid plunge. Did you ever do that when you went to the swimming pool?
The Kool-Aid plunge.
Where you would, that was an ST plunge. I'm sorry. Kool-Aid was the Kool-Aid pitcher running through the
You're running through the wall. The Kool-Aid man.
The ST plunge was the standing on the edge of the pool and then falling backwards.
This one didn't have a long run, but for a Super Bowl commercial, the hungry Betty White. Remember that one?
Yeah, that was good. But that wasn't old school. That was more. That was just a great commercial of modern times. How about the Fabergé organic shampoo? I told 2 friends and they told 2 friends and so on and so on. And then other shampoo commercials. Remember, gee, your hair smells terrific. That was the actual name of the shampoo. You remember that?
No,
you had even back in the feathered hair days. You didn't. You didn't feel like you needed to have your tresses extra shiny or smelling good.
Yeah, I think we've hit about the Mean Joe Green thing. Always ranks. I'm looking at some of the top rankings. Hey kid, catch when he gives him the jersey.
Classic Coke commercials. I'd like to teach the world to sing. That was another one. I think I was more of a latchkey kid than you were. I was probably watching a lot more TV. Sadly, something I should not be so proud of.
For our audience, that means that after school.
Yeah, I'm a Gen Xer, which means that traditionally we were the latchkey kids because both parents worked, and so you.
So what did you do? What does that mean?
It means that we let ourselves into the house with the keys when we got home at the end of the day, and
latchkey.
Watched a lot of Gilligan's Island reruns. In my case, Little House on the Prairie, a lot of stuff. We got to go to break. Lots more coming up in the show. Don't miss it. Right after the news.
At Midland, we know sometimes all it takes is a moment for an idea to spark. Or to make it happen. A moment to find your dream. Or build one. A moment to start your forever. Or at least start planning for it. Whatever moments you have, Midland is here for them. And can help you make them. Midland. Brighter together. Visit us at midlandsb.com. Midland States Bank is member FDIC.
It's Julie Buck here to tell you that the patio is open at Bishop's Post right next to Chesterfield Mall. Get your reservations in now and go to Bishop's Post. You will love it. Tell them Julie Buck sent you. bishopspost.com.
This is the Big 550 KTRS St. Louis, Baldwin, Arnold, Town and Country, and the world.
Streaming live at KTRS.com.
I'm Michelle Franzen.
In Qatar, reports of explosions in the capital. The Qatari government is blaming Israel for carrying out strikes. Israel confirming they targeted senior Hamas leaders who have been based out of Qatar for years. Israel's prime minister, in a statement, calling the strikes completely justified, he says, due to Hamas leadership organizing the October 7th attacks. ABC's Ian Pannell is in Jerusalem.
It is also where the Hamas leadership has been based for many years now. We also know that it's where the negotiating teams have been based. The U.S. negotiating teams, when they've been talking to Hamas, have also traveled to Qatar, as well as the Israeli teams who've used the U.S. as a go-between.
A judge in Michigan has dismissed state charges against a group of 2020 electors who worked to change the results of the state presidential election.
2 years ago, Michigan's Attorney General charged 16 Republicans with forgery and conspiracy for signing electoral certificates for Donald Trump in a state won by Joe Biden. But Lansing-based Judge Kristen Simmons says she didn't see evidence that the Republicans intended to commit a crime. Instead, she said the GOP electors were operating under the First Amendment.
Their statements make it very clear that they believe that they can seek redress from their state senators, which I believe is a constitutional right.
Stephen Portnoy, ABC News, Washington.
President Trump is denying a sketch attributed to him in a so-called birthday book for convicted sex trafficker Jeffrey Epstein is real. Democrats on the House Oversight Committee releasing the sketch. It's leading to more calls for the Justice Department to release the full Epstein files. In Florida, it's day 2 of jury selection for Ryan Ruth, the man accused of trying to assassinate Donald Trump last year at his Florida golf resort. Ruth is representing himself in the case. Revised government figures showing U.S. businesses added far fewer jobs in 2024 and early this year than previously thought. You're listening to ABC News.
You know, over the years, Lordo's has become part of the family for many, many St. Louis families. For 80 years, they've been helping St. Louis families with all of the jewelry needs, whether it's the diamond ring, a diamond ring, maybe something for St. Patrick's Day, something for an anniversary, Valentine's Day. Throughout the years and throughout the calendar, it's Lordo's as your go-to. Whether it's men or women, you want to repurpose something or buy something new, Lordo's Diamonds in the heart of Ladue on Clayton Road. You see, it's a family business. The family's been running it for years, and they learned it from their father, who learned it from their father. And so that family jeweler is where generations of St. Louisans go. Grandparents have gone there. Your grandkids will go there. Right there in Ladue on Clayton Road, across the street from a Norman Rockwell-esque firehouse, is Lordo's Diamonds. Go in, make a friend, and make them your family jeweler, because you can thank me later. 314-432-8008 or online, lordosdiamonds.com.
74 degrees at 11:03 with KTRS News. I'm Steve Potter. Beginning this morning at sunrise and lasting through sunrise tomorrow, the Missouri State Capitol Dome is shining orange in recognition of September as Hunger Action Month. The lighting of the dome was done in coordination with Feeding Missouri, a coalition of the 6 Missouri food banks working to provide hunger relief to all of Missouri's 114 counties and to the city of St. Louis. Orange is the national color of hunger awareness and hunger relief. More than 1 million individuals in Missouri rely on food provided by Feeding Missouri. There's a renewed effort to solve a decades-long murder of a Dairy Queen manager in Ellisville. During a news conference yesterday, former St. Louis County Police Chief Tim Fitch announced he reopened the murder investigation of 47-year-old Margaret Walsh.
She was loved deeply. I've learned a lot of this about Marge, and she mattered. Her life was stolen in 1980, and for 45 years, her family and friends have carried the weight of unanswered questions. Today, we stand with them.
Walsh was found shot to death at the Dairy Queen on Clayton Road back in April of 1980. Investigators have resubmitted evidence to the crime lab for modern DNA and ballistic testing. Anyone with information is urged to call the Ellisville Police Department or Crime Stoppers. A North County woman has pleaded guilty for her role in the murder-for-hire plot. Victoria Williams entered that plea yesterday in the murder of her fiancé, Charles Harris. According to prosecutors, Williams hired Michael Grady to carry out the murder and make it look like a robbery. Grady is scheduled to go on trial in Harris's death in December. Williams will be sentenced on December the 16th. U.S. Steel's plan to shift some operations away from Granite City Works will not lead to layoffs. The company said yesterday there will be no idling of the facility, and it will be maintained in an operational state. U.S. Steel previously announced plans to move the processing of steel slabs away from Granite City plants in Pennsylvania and Indiana. And the St. Louis Zoo Wild Care Park is welcoming their first camel herd.
The camels are between 1 and 2 years old and are settling into Wild Care Park, a safari park and conservation breeding center currently under development in North St. Louis County. The camels are Bactrian camels, the kind with 2 humps, and the only species to still roam the wild. They are known for their ability to withstand extreme temperatures, ranging from -20 to 120 degrees in their native habitat, the Gobi Desert of Mongolia. Visitors will have the opportunity to meet these camels on guided safaris when Wild Care Park officially opens in 2027. But if you can't wait, you can see Bactrian camels at the St. Louis Zoo and Forest Park, where they have been cared for over many years. Toby Bay, KTRS News.
This KTRS Business Minute brought to you by Walter Knoll Florist, the place for all your floral needs. You can place your order anytime at WKF.com. Studies show that Americans are moving away from ultra-processed foods, and one St. Louis brand is getting involved. Rootberry LLC, a maker of nutritionally balanced, allergen-friendly, ready-to-eat meals and snacks, is expanding from 75 to more than 1,000 retail locations by the end of 2025. Time now for the markets, brought to you by JBL Financial. Tune into Straight Talk and Retirement, Saturday mornings from 9 to 11. The Dow is up 56 points at 45,575. NASDAQ down 10 at 21,787. And the S&P 500 down 1 at 6,493. In sports, a couple game times have been announced for Week 4 of college football. Number 9, Illinois, will take on Indiana in Bloomington. Meanwhile, though, Mizzou hosts South Carolina in a game that will kick off at either 6 or 6:30, and you can hear it right here on the Big 550 on September the 20th. Our forecast, mostly sunny today, an afternoon high near 82, partly cloudy tonight, an overnight low around 60, then sunny and warmer tomorrow with a high of 90. At 11:07, sunshine, 74 degrees at the Gold Tower at Westport. Steve Potter, KTRS News, the talk of St. Louis.
What are you doing every day to support your liver? If you enjoy sweets, fast food, alcohol, or take any medications, that's a vital question to ask. Hi, I'm Sherry Torkas, pharmacist and health author. For over 30 years, I've helped people make informed decisions about their health, especially concerning prevention and long-term wellness. Supporting your liver isn't just a wellness trend, it's a daily essential. That's why I recommend Active Liver by New Nordic. It's made with plant-based ingredients like milk thistle, turmeric, and globe artichoke, herbs clinically studied for their protective and restorative effects on the liver. Active Liver blends traditional herbal wisdom with modern scientific research. Not all supplements are created equal. I trust Active Liver because it's backed by science, meets strict quality standards, and delivers true daily liver support.
Protect your liver and give it the support that it deserves by making Active Liver from New Nordic part of your daily wellness routine. Find Active Liver in stores at your local CVS, Meijer Grocery, or online at Amazon or newnordicusa.com.
All right, welcome back. This is the Frank and Jill Show on the Big 550 on KTRS. On Tuesdays at 11, we are joined by the great Joe Holloman from the Post-Dispatch. The winning ticket in Saturday's record Powerball drawing was sold at a Quick Trip in North St. Louis County. Someone bought the ticket worth $893 million. And Joe, if you are still taking our calls on Tuesday, I assume it wasn't your ticket, correct?
Yeah, that is absolutely correct, Frank. You've never been more right about anything in your entire life. I wouldn't have a cell phone if that. Yeah, I would smash my cell phone to pieces, and yeah, I mean, you know, God bless them. I wish it were me.
Can you imagine if there was never another sunshine request in your future? You could just never have to worry about one of those again.
Yes, I can. There's so many things that I've thought about. I've, you know, like everybody else, I mean, part of the reason, and I don't buy tickets regularly, and but when I do, it's like then you figure out, well, here's what I do with that money, and I've figured that within the first 48 hours, I would lose my cell phone and all my social media accounts. I would be done, and I would just hire somebody to take calls for me.
So to paraphrase Jeff Gordon, your colleague at the Post-Dispatch, how will people remember the Dorian Johnson career and life? Of course, his account, you know, spawned the hands up, don't shoot narrative that fueled the months-long Ferguson protest. Later, the Department of Justice found Johnson's account was not credible compared with other evidence. So your take on the whole thing?
Yeah, it's remarkable, not in a good way, just worthy of remarkable, that when I looked at the comments that came online, it boiled down to all the old wounds and the old sides being taken. So I think first of all, let me say that you are absolutely correct in pointing out is that what became sort of the spark for the whole situation, according to the Obama administration and Obama's Attorney General and the Department of Justice, it did not occur. So what we had is this situation that was based on fiction, the hands up, don't shoot. What it did was it did make a community look at some inherent problems that were there, and that was the treatment of people of color by police. And that is a real issue and something that needed to be addressed. But what happened is so often happens in this day of instant communication, is that instead of facts and reason moving that conversation, emotions and inaccuracies move that conversation. That in turn allows us then to pick both sides and either negate the one side and say there was never an issue in North County about police treatment, and the other side saying that everybody in North County is being mistreated. And sadly, Dorian Johnson's story helped foster what I think is, while a needed look at issues in our area, it became an unhealthy look in the way that people simply drew a line down the middle and became pro or con. So I think it's a sad chapter. I mean, you never want to see anybody get shot. I mean, so a life is a life. It was gone. We don't know all the details. They're saying it's a domestic type disturbance that led to this. So for that, we've got to wait for it. But it was a sad day 10 or so years ago that this was all based on bad information, and since then has sort of tainted a lot of things that have come out of the Ferguson situation.
Joe, we've talked to you about this special session of the Missouri legislature as it relates to redistricting and gerrymandering. I'm curious, what are your thoughts about the other big issue that they seem to be talking about, which is, are we going to be changing the way that constitutional amendments can be ratified by us, by the citizens, by the voters of this state? I guess the part that I just still don't quite understand is I can understand some people think it's too easy to change the Constitution. Some people think it's too hard because you have to have so many signatures. But the difference that they're proposing where if you were a legislator, if the legislature proposes a constitutional amendment, yeah, they can do it with a lower percentage of the vote. But if we as citizens do it, we have to have a higher percentage. I'm curious of your thoughts on this.
I am and have been and have mentioned, maybe if not here, on other shows.
Yeah, you have here. Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm a big proponent of making it tougher.
Mm-hmm.
I don't believe, and people go, well, we're a democracy. Actually, we're not. We're a republic. We're a democratic republic. And in the United States, to change an amendment to the U.S. Constitution requires 3/4 of all states, 38 of 50 states, to approve an amendment. Amendments to the Constitution, in my opinion, were never meant to be amended by simple majorities. Mm-hmm. And I think that's where you end up, because, one issue now that gets 51% of the vote, and so you amend the Constitution. 5 years later, the taste of the American public or the Missouri public changes, and then you change it back again. Mm-hmm. And then it goes this way. That's not what constitutions were made for. And I always compare it to foundations of a home. You can paint your house any color you want. You can get new awnings. You can put a new roof on. You can change the interior completely. You don't mess with the foundation unless you absolutely have to. And I think it is folly. I think it is asking for trouble when you say, we're just going to let a half of the population plus one person change the foundation of our government, because then it offers no stability. It offers no foundation. And so I am all for anything that makes it tougher, and I always have been. Because the problem is people say, well, this issue on Medicaid and this issue on this, it's not supposed to be about a single issue. It's supposed to be about the foundation upon which your government sits. And it shouldn't be changed easily, and it should have a substantial majority. Now, if you want to argue about the numbers, should it be a majority of all congressional districts in the state? Should it be 60%? Should it be 65%? I'm willing to listen to all of those, anything, as long as it's not a simple majority. I've always thought that was a bad idea.
Good thoughts. Another topic. So St. Bonaventure had a study a while back about 70% of Americans are sports fans. And I'm wondering why more politicians don't capitalize on this. I bring this up because I saw Governor Kehoe every day at the Stiefel Charity Classic. He's a sports fan. Mm-hmm. And I think back to President Obama and just how smart and how cool he looked every year when he would pick his brackets for the NCAA. And then President Trump with the UFC and going to SEC football games. Man, you talk about a great way to ingratiate yourself with Americana. If you're a politician, say you're a sports fan or care about it.
Yeah, the only thing I can think of, and I think that's a very excellent point, and then you had Bush's, both the elder and the younger, owning parts of baseball teams during their career, so and big fans. Clinton with Arkansas basketball. I think it may be is they know what sports fans are going to be with them, so let's not alienate the 30% who aren't sports fans. I don't know. I mean, I get it. I always thought it was funny. In fact, the one thing I remember appreciating about Bill Clinton was where they said, who are you rooting for in the NCAAs? And he was like, Arkansas, man. I mean, and I think for a while, I think politicians were afraid. There's like, well, I don't want to offend anybody who's an anti-Arkansas. If you're from Missouri, I don't want to say I'm for KU or vice versa. Yeah. So, but yeah, I don't get it. I think it would be, and I agree with you completely. I thought one of the most effective things that Obama ever did as president was pick the brackets, since half the nation was picking brackets. And it tuned in perfectly. If you hated Obama, you wanted to have a better bracket than him.
Yeah, and you could tell he knew what he was doing. He was cool, and he knew, hey, I like this team for a reason. He had a little anecdote on each squad he picked. It was awesome.
Yeah, no, I agree with you completely. And I used to love, when the Bushes would show up at ball games. I still remember the one, but George the Elder, after he had been out of office, whatever, sitting at a Houston game eating peanuts behind home plate. I just remember thinking that would have got you 10,000 votes right there, that you were actually not in the clubhouse box. They were great seats. They were right behind home plate. You're part owner of the team. But, eating peanuts, I thought was just a gas. So I agree with you. There should be more press conferences where folks have their baseball or football caps on for their team. So
good thoughts. I guess the other side of that question, though, is so often people who are well known as sports figures are soundly criticized when they come out in favor of one politician or another. If you're the politician, if it's your party, you like like that idea of having that endorsement, then everybody else is just like
he's one of those.
Go
She's
dribble,
one of those.
Dribble, keep to dribbling. The famous comment. So it is interesting. Yeah, thank you. The converse public sentiment around it is interesting.
Yeah, I think we probably pigeonhole athletes as to you shouldn't have those opinions, and I think it probably is some of it does stem from why it is we tune into politicians for politics. If they're going to give us a little sports, that's escapism and that's entertainment, and that's great. I mean, even people who didn't like Obama liked watching him pick the brackets. Maybe with sports, it's like I don't want the rest of the real world, for the lack of a better word, to intrude upon my sports. I don't care. I don't want to see political statements made during a game. I'm a cycling fan, and they've had some Palestinian protests have disrupted stages of the Vuelta, which is Spain's version of Tour de France, one of the big three races. And they've actually disrupted the race. And I don't like seeing that. I don't mind seeing people standing on the sides of the road with signs that say whatever political thing they want to say. But it seems like then when you intrude on the action of the sport is probably where sports fans, at least I do, is where I draw the line. Let the sporting event be the sporting event. Then after it's over, you want to go hold a press conference to decry or support anything you want to. That's called First Amendment. God bless you.
Well, with that said,
leave it out of the event.
Where do you stand on the NFL going back to the stuff in end zones and racism?
Yeah, it doesn't bother me, just because pretty much once the touchdowns end, I don't care. I don't really watch celebrations. I don't care what messages are written or anything, because those sort of things end up falling under free speech. If somebody who owns a team, or the NFL, which owns the teams basically, if they want to do that, that's great. I don't think it changes anybody's opinion. I think it's a lot of virtue signaling. I think it's like a lot of sign holding at things. You're not trying to change anybody's mind. Sadly, I think more often you're trying to draw attention to yourself. So if you want to put statements out there and you want to put end racism or end global warming in end zone, have at it. It's not going to affect how I watch the game. It's also not going to affect how I feel about racism or global warming. So knock yourself out.
Joe, you mentioned being an avid cyclist and fan. I think we'd love to see you ride someday, but word on the street is you're just too fast. We wouldn't even be able to recognize you as you went by. So kind of a futile point, I guess.
That's exactly what it is. I go through tires. I just burn the rubber right off of them. No, I'm the person going, oh, look at him. He's resting. And it's like, that's me at top speed. So I would notice it's funny because amateur cyclists will be watching these races like the Tour de France or the Vuelta, and we have a speed like, oh, I averaged 15 miles an hour for this ride. Guys in the Tour de France, they talk and chat with each other at 15 miles an hour. It's like, they're exchanging phone numbers and, tying their shoes at 15 miles an hour. And so it's kind of humbling, but I am that guy, that overweight guy, struggling up the hill. That's me on the bike.
I resemble those remarks for sure. Joe, as always, great to have you here. We'll look forward to our regular check-in in 1 week as well. Make it a great week. Hey, you guys are going to, if you're a procrastinator, you're going to thank me for this, because this is your final reminder. This is the last day of that incredible Miller Furniture sale, been going on, the Labor Day sale. They kept it going after Labor Day. It was so popular. So many of you loved it. Up to 75% off of the in-stock items. And then this is the real bonus. A lot of people couldn't believe several select items that are those custom orders that you love in both the Amish furniture as well as brands like Stickley, just top-of-the-line American furniture at deep discounts as well. Huge sale on all kinds of mattresses, including the highest luxury brand Chatham & Wells, 50% off, but the other brands that you've heard of like Stearns & Foster also at big sales as well. But this is it. It ends on September 9th. So take advantage of this incredible sale. Make plans today to visit one of the 4 locations. There's one near you. Flagship in Belleville, Illinois. The largest warehouse size in Fairview Heights, Illinois. Lake St. Louis at the Meadow Shopping Center, and Ellisville off Manchester Road. Miller Furniture, that's MUELLER Furniture.
The big, beautiful tax bill just passed. Do you know how these changes will affect your financial plan? What changes has your financial advisor made to take advantage of these opportunities before they expire? Join me, Kevin Lloyd, for my next tax workshop, 314-641-1010. Learn how these changes can benefit you and your family. 314-641-1010.
Securities and advisory services offered through LPLA, registered investment advisor, member FINRA, SIPC.
When you go and get your car washed, do you really care which car wash you go to? Yes, because not all car washes are created equal. Country Club Car Wash is the local family-owned and family-operated car wash since 1989. All these other ones that are popping up, they're all run by out-of-town hedge funds. Keep it local. Keep it great. Touchless car washes, no brushes, inside and out. 5 area locations, Country Club Car Wash, or cccwstl.com.
The University of Missouri St. Louis offers academic programs at the undergraduate, graduate, doctoral, and professional levels to fit any passion, purpose, and schedule. At UMSL, more is what moves us. Find your more at more.umsl.edu.
Progressive presents Employee of the Month. Small Business Edition. Today's recipient from Terry's Tiny Homes, Terry! Sure, as the only employee of her company, Terry was probably the front runner, but saving money getting personalized discounts with a commercial auto quote from Progressive, well, that gave Terry the edge. Over Terry.
Terry, Terry.
Keep awkwardly chanting your own name, Terry. You deserve it.
Woo!
Be your own Terry. See if you could save in as little as 8 minutes at ProgressiveCommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Discounts not available in all states or situations.
When it comes to mortgage lenders, I know you have no shortage of options. But are you working with someone local who can truly simplify the process? I'm David Goldberg with the Goldberg Group. And as a St. Louis home purchase expert, I know this market inside and out. I specialize in tough-to-complete situations for borrowers who are self-employed, looking to buy and sell at the same time, and may have been turned down somewhere else. Whether you're a first-time home buyer or seasoned homeowner, you can trust me with all of your home financing needs. Call or text me at 314-471-4030. 314-471-4030.
Truck drivers, have you been searching for a more reliable driving job? Get the paychecks and predictability you need as a Schneider driver. Schneider's large selection of driving jobs means you can get the home time that suits your schedule. Choose from daily, weekly, monthly, or sometime in between. Plus, Schneider drivers have access to great benefits with a 401k match and a 24/7 support team. Get the keys to a better driving job. Search openings near you and apply now at SchneiderJobs.com.
Gingham's Homestyle Restaurant has been a staple in St. Charles for 35 years. Our comfortable, casual atmosphere offers some of the best comfort food you've ever had. Customers might know our delicious breakfast, but you can have whatever you want, anytime you want, with our full menu 24 hours a day. Nothing warms your heart like Gingham's famous vegetable soup, and we can cater your event, too. If you like homestyle food and great friendly service, you'll love Gingham's Restaurant in St. Charles. 636-946-0266 or ginghamsrestaurant.com.
Dents Express, like the Missouri Tigers, knows a lot about collisions and hard knocks. And Dents Express can fix your minor dents, hail damage, as well as help you with your insurance claim. Dents Express is 30 years in the business and a proud sponsor of the Tigers on the Big 550 KTRS, and wish them a very successful season. Dents Express. Call them or stop by, but first make an appointment. They are your dent repair center. Online at dentsexpressstl.com. Go Mizzou.
The Bommarito Automotive Group has been your number one choice for all your automotive needs for over 51 years. They've sold over 1 million vehicles by giving you a better price, a better selection, and more for your trade. You can shop them online and see their entire inventory at bommarito.com.
Want a song? Want a quote? It's the song and quote of the day on the Frank and Jill Show. Right here on the Big 550 KTRS.
Welcome back, everybody. 11:28 time check. This is the Frank and Jill Show. Jill Farmer, Frank Cusimano, Connor McCarthy. Very glad you are with us today. Enjoying another beautiful day of fall temps, but it's going to be heating up. Although they say the humidity is not going to be nearly as high as it was when we had those 90-degree temps a few weeks ago. So I'm hoping that helps.
Yeah, I don't mind it.
That's the dew point. Low dew point coming in.
There it is.
Yes.
I'll never complain about really, really hot because I'd rather have it 95 than 05.
Really?
Yeah. Yep. You and I are kind of wired just about opposite on that front.
You want 05.
I'll take cold temperatures over.
Well, we don't really get 05s here very much, so it'd be more like 25. Maybe it's kind of like as cold as it gets here normally, outside of like a few, storms or polar vortex.
Well, I just the humidity and the 95. I do fine until we get into the, I would say, 90s and with high humidity. So I'm not as dreading it as much as I am sometimes when we have really hot temps, because again, the humidity is going to be a little lower. And I think it's going to be a decent night out at St. Louis Music Park tonight. That is where the Bigger and Weirder 2025 tour is going to make its St. Louis stop, starring none other than Weird Al Yankovic. this was White and Nerdy, of course, and that was the song out of all the parodies that he has done through the years. That's the one that ended up making it highest on the Billboard charts. Would you have guessed back when he started? And if you I remember, the Michael Jackson, parodies particularly. Would you have predicted that it was not? I thought for sure this was kind of a goofy one-hit wonder kind of thing. Would you have predicted that he would be selling out concerts this late into his career?
And his net worth is $20 million, and he's 65, and he still has that exact hair, which is really fun.
The long, kind of thin hair.
Yeah, permed, perhaps one might say, or maybe it's just naturally curly. I don't know, but it's definitely got some curl to it. Yeah, I wouldn't have predicted either. And the whole, it's just so goofy, but also just kind of heartwarming at the same time, right? The accordion, the whole shebang.
Yeah, and he's kind of what is normal anyway, but like one wife, one kid, and who's more peculiar at times than he is. But you look at some of these high school photos too. Wow.
I think between the parody music, he puts out polka too. He does with the accordion. So I think that's like his real music. I don't know if he probably wouldn't say either is real or not real, but
the happiest people in the world are those that are living closest to their true nature. And so can we say, is it fair to say that it looks like Weird Al is living as close to his true nature?
He is, huh?
And doesn't really care whether people think he's, quote, cool or not, because it's really working well. He's clever and he loves music, and those two things combined together made him into a phenom.
And Michael Jackson was a big fan of his work. Yeah, so it's kind of cool.
Yeah, I would say that's when I was just doing a little research looking at this. Many of the artists that he parodied were like, we think it's a sign of imitation is the sincerest form of flattery. This is a variation of that. When you've made it. When Weird Al decides to do a parody of your hit, that's a sign, I guess, that it was a hit. I remember, kids liked it because it was just goofy and fun, but adults do too. Did you ever have a Weird Al phase at all, or was it? It was past
I don't know if there was
prime?
a phase, but I remember him releasing some songs like this one and some others, and I guess he still is releasing new ones today. I don't know if I ever really listened to him. It's like you listen, you kind of laugh, and then you move on. I don't know.
So he's performing tonight, and do anybody have any idea what those tickets could cost? And are we think it's going to be a big crowd?
St. Louis Music Park. I don't know. I know I was reading about he has sold out in some cities. I can't say for sure whether he has here or not, but it's a good venue. We've talked about it before. You've got coverage in case the weather comes. I think it's going to be. It'll be a fun night for sure. And if any of you guys are going, let us know. Royal Banks, Missouri text line 84126, and especially tomorrow, we want to hear how it was. Somebody else who I think a lot of people respect and liked is actor Stanley Tucci. Are you a Stanley Tucci fan?
Oh gosh, yes.
Me?
He is spectacular. I
too.
love him.
I love him as an actor, and I love him when he does interviews, and I love him when he hosts food shows. All of those
when
three
he listens
things.
to those all the time. Yeah.
It's.
What has he not been in? What has he been in, Jill, that you didn't think he was great?
I can't think of anything. And then he's had, a lot of challenges in his personal life, specifically lost a wife to cancer, very heartbreaking, mother of his children. And so just for the candor that he shared about walking through some of the experiences and the grounded way he looks at things, this interview really touched me in he talking about what things were great with his career and then what challenges came specifically after he made the blockbuster hit, which at the time was his biggest, as starring in Devil Wears Prada. So he talks about, I think it was the role in an animated series, voicing it was what kind of helped bridge onto the next things. But he puts in context, it's in the interview, that so many people think, I'm going to get my big break. And Devil Wears Prada was his big break after having a lot of smaller roles, side roles. And then after that, he'd been kind of typecast, right? And and then of course,
The Hunger Games
came around. The Hunger Games ended up being one of the biggest money makers in his career. But yeah, he is great in Devil Wears Prada. You know, I love that movie and I love him in it. But I'm sad that it stalled his career for a while.
I've not seen that.
You haven't?
No, I'm sure that you and Tarek will plan on that as a movie review. In the
It's a good movie, Frank. You're being too close-minded on this one. I think it's a good movie.
Okay.
All right.
I did enjoy watching what we're going to see tomorrow again. Dog Day Afternoon. Have you seen it yet?
I haven't. That's on my to-do list this
Boy.
afternoon in between clients.
You talk about some acting. Al Pacino, when he starts yelling, Attica, Attica. Oh, my goodness. It is so good.
And I think this is one of the only movies that we have rewatched in this in so far since we've been doing it that I have never seen the original. Obviously, you had seen the original.
There was a original of Dog
I
Day.
mean, obviously, you've seen the movie before. Rewatching it for
Yes,
this, I
yeah.
should say, yeah, I
wait a minute.
misspoke.
You've seen never.
Mm-mm.
Oh my goodness. Well, you got to watch this. Could you? By the way, it's free.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've got it queued up.
It's on HBO Max for free, and then it's on
Well, so you have to have HBO.
Yeah.
And then you get it. Yeah.
Yes, I know. Thank you. Yeah, that's always a very good correction because we get it either from you or from the text line. So it's important that you keep making it.
Well, some of them are out there. Like Tubi is an actual free service, and some of them are on.
Have you watched it?
For tomorrow, not yet, but I have seen it before.
You have seen it before. Okay, so you watch it, so you can contribute to the discussion. So that's on my task list or to-do list, as I said, between clients this afternoon.
But that's a good. It's a good choice of Stanley Tucci, by the way. I've always loved him.
Yeah, I totally agree, and I think I have to say, I think he's just a really handsome person as well, just the way he presents himself.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, should I not say that?
There.
I do. I'm not going to lie
he's cool.
about that.
I could see it. Yep.
At least one person on the text line says they're not so sure about it. So I'm gonna go in with an open
About
mind
Dog
for
Day
sure.
Afternoon.
Yeah.
Zero checking in.
Oh,
Says he
and
didn't enjoy it at all.
But I always appreciate his insights. He gives us some great ones. Somebody else who gives incredible insights when it comes to Medicare. The Medicare man, Ryan Raphael. And the thing is, we have talked to people in the past that said, I was just confused and I didn't think I needed to do anything about my plan or I wasn't sure on the timing. And I called Ryan and he was so incredibly friendly. He was so incredibly caring. He answered the questions for my mother-in-law that she just wasn't taking the initiative to get answered. And that's what Ryan does. He wants to be there to answer your questions. We know this is confusing. If you're turning 65, going on Medicare for because the timing is right for you, retirement is approaching, we know it can be very confusing. And that's why Ryan, his number one job in the world is to answer your Medicare questions. And because he's a broker, there's never a charge for his services. He's compensated by the insurance companies. He deals with just about every Medicare plan option. And so he understands them and he wants to make sure that you get the one that is absolutely perfectly right for you, which could be very different than the one that's right for your neighbor, for your sister-in-law, for somebody else in your life that had a good experience with one plan. That doesn't necessarily mean it's the right plan for you. And he does such a good job, Ryan Raphael, at drilling down to help you find the exactly best plan for you and to help you understand how supplements are, how they contrast to Advantage plans and all the other details. Medicare man, Ryan Raphael, give him a call on his cell phone, 314-368-6808 or MedicareManSTL.com.
And now, KTRS weather from the John Beal Roofing Weather Desk.
Our stretch of fall-like weather has come to an end. We have more cloud cover present this morning. That will lead to mostly sunny skies by the afternoon, and temperatures today warmer with a high of 82 degrees. Overnight tonight, we fall back into the 60s, and we continue with the warm-up beginning tomorrow and through the weekend. We have many 90s in the forecast ahead. It stays dry. With your first alert forecast, I'm meteorologist Leah Hill for the Big 550 KTRS.
John Beal Roofing is the home of the lowest price roofing guarantee. Get a free estimate today at johnbealroofing.com.
My friends at Neighbors Credit Union are rolling out a new account. The new Debit All Day account is designed for the way you pay today. Debit All Day is a checkless checking account featuring a Neighbors Visa debit card, the convenience of online and mobile banking, and access to your direct deposits up to 2 days early. If you're looking for a no-fuss account to make managing your money simple, safe from overdrafts, and free of fees, Debit All Day is for you. Open your Neighbors Credit Union Debit All Day account online today at neighborscu.org.
Your biggest choice in home restoration is who do you trust with your home, your most valued asset. Few can match Banner Construction's experience and dedication to excellence. Banner is an elite preferred James Hardy contractor and Pella Windows specialist. Restoration is a one-time opportunity to have Banner's design team show you architectural options to make your home the neighborhood showcase. Call for a free consultation, 314-569-1050. And have a banner day.
It's Julie Buck inviting you to join my friends at AAA Travel for a special travel event on September 17th from 6 to 8 p.m. at the St. Peter's Cultural Arts Center to learn more about river cruising with Viking, the world's leading river cruise line. Viking offers destinations on the great rivers of Europe, Asia, and Egypt. Space is limited. RSVP today and learn more about river cruising with Viking on September 17th. For more information, go to AAA.com/travel show.
Evolution Festival in Forest Park. 30 bands, 3 stages. Saturday, September 27th, Sublime, Sam Fender, Public Enemy, The Hives, Corinne Bailey Ray. Sunday, September 28th. Lenny Kravitz, TLC, Marcus King Band, and Maggie Rose. Benefiting United Way of Greater St. Louis Storm Relief Fund. Tickets at evolutionfestival.com.
Worldwide Technology Raceway is the only track in America to host a NASCAR event, an IndyCar event, and an NHRA event. Don't miss the upcoming NASCAR Xfinity Series, the NASCAR Cup Series, Enjoy Illinois 300, and the NHRA Midwest Nationals, all happening in September. The track, under the leadership of owner Curtis Francois, continues to upgrade the race experience for fans who come from around the country. For tickets, go to www.raceway.com.
Scott, remember when the Queen of Carpet and the Princess of Pile were flying around the arch selling flooring?
Andrea, that was the Queen of Carpet and the Princess of Tile.
Oh, that's right. But we don't need shtick here at Best Buy Flooring.
That's right, because our in-stock selection of carpet, carpet tile, sheet vinyl, laminate, hardwood, luxury vinyl plank, and luxury vinyl tile are already at low, low prices.
Come see us at our 3 area locations, North County, South County, and Metro East. Open 7 days a week.
Plus, free financing on approved credit. Best flooring, best selection, Best Buy Flooring.
There's a lot on the line in divorce. This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell, the largest family law firm in the country, with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. Divorce touches all areas of your life: your home, savings, retirement, and of course, kids. So when you find yourself facing divorce, you need a partner you can count on.
If you are facing divorce, contact Cordell & Cordell today at 1-855-GET-LEGAL. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. 600 Kelwood, St. Louis.
At Midland, we know sometimes all it takes is a moment. A moment for an idea to spark, or to make it happen. A moment to find your dream, or build one. A moment to start your forever, or at least start planning for it. Whatever moments you have, Midland is here for them and can help you make them. Midland, brighter together. Visit us at midlandsb.com. Midland States Bank is member FDIC.
Whether you're on your way to see the Tigers or coming back home from the game, be sure to plan a side trip to Overstock Outlet, the best random store around where new inventory from the major big box stores arrives daily. You never know what great deals you'll find, and it's right on your way. 2 locations, in Lake St. Louis at Highway N and Lake St. Louis Boulevard, and in Warrenton at Highway 47 and Highway M. Open every day from 10 until 5. Find them on Facebook at Overstock Outlet Lake St. Louis, or check out their weekly online auctions at overstockoutletauctions.com. Let's go Tigers!
Kuna Food Service has been the trusted food supplier in the Midwest since 1918. For over 100 years, Kuna Food Service has been distributing the highest quality food products to some of your favorite restaurants while delivering superior customer service. When a restaurant puts their trust in Kuna Food Service, they get a team that truly cares about their success. That's why at Kuna, they like to say, they're big enough to handle it, yet small enough to care. Check them out online at kunafoodservice.com.
All right, so basically on this date in 1979, ESPN was formed. And I can remember, Jill, about 2 years after that, in 81, my freshman or sophomore year at UMSL, and we're playing in the state of Louisiana. And we got to our hotel room. We're playing Southeast Louisiana and Southern Miss. We got to our hotel room, and my roommate and I, Bob McCormick, was one of my close friends, we turn on the TV, and right in the middle of the day, like at 1 o'clock, we're watching sports, which was unheard of. And we are, we just got off the plane, and it is so exciting. And he's on one bed, I'm on the other, and we just got off the plane. All of a sudden, we're just watching, and then we both, at the same time, not maybe at the exact same time, but we both just kind of lean back, and boom, we fall asleep. And then we wake up like an hour and a half later knowing we've missed the team bus to the Southern Miss facility. We grab our gym bags, that's how old we are, grab our gym bags, and we run out and we get a taxi at the hotel, and he drives us to the right around the gym area, and he goes, that'll be $22. And we had 15. And he goes, and he goes, all right, give me your money. And so we give him $15. We go hustling into the gym, and the coach had already written up the scouting report and all this stuff. And he looks at us, he just shakes his head, and we just, we sat the bench, and oh my God, it was one of the worst and most memorable days ever, all because of ESPN. We were just mesmerized by sports in the middle of the day.
What an absolutely great story. And also so many things, right? Nobody could text you or call you on your cell phone and say, get on the bus, Cusimano, and kind of old school way of doing it. You miss the bus. You have to be, you have to figure out the way to get there. That's a really great story. So, of course, it revolutionized. I never thought about it before this minute when you brought this up. Revolutionized, maybe not for the better, maybe for the better, you tell me, local TV sports forever, because that was where you went before then to get even the national sports scores. You watched the sportscast in the news, local newscast every day to find out who had won the if you were in another city, the teams that you followed, whatever was happening with national sports. It was local newscasts where you got that information, or the newspaper, and all of a sudden you've got it ESPN, you've got this at your fingertips at all times. Do you think it had an impact?
Well, it definitely did, and it made you accentuate on your sportscast. You go everything local because everybody's watching everything else. They know what's going on the phone, but you can tell the local story and you can give insight that they can't. And we're St. Louis, where everybody just cares about St. Louis. So, I love to have a Sports Plus, a 30-minute Sports Plus, and not have 1 second of national content. That's the goal.
So it, in one hand, it helped emphasize local sports, which is great. On the other hand, I'm looking here, it as things like Sports Center became wildly popular, it actually pulled total audience away from local newscasts.
It did. I don't think Sports Center is quite as popular. I think at one time,
in the 90s,
Dan Patrick and Keith Olbermann, man, you didn't miss that. But now you don't really even care about their host. But I mean, I'm not saying people don't watch ESPN because they do, but yeah, it's a good point.
Lots of people have been mentioning to me this big change by Southwest Airlines because they know it's going to directly impact our family, and that is that 6 of the flights that were taken pretty commonly for the short flights out of Lambert Airport on Southwest, because we had the only direct flights to places like Little Rock, Arkansas, Tulsa, Oklahoma City, Wichita, and then this is the big one for us, Des Moines, Iowa, all announced that they're being cut by Southwest Airlines. No more direct flights to those cities.
So if you want to fly to Des Moines, you will have to fly where first?
You'd have to go through Chicago, and it's a ridiculous. So we'll have to drive. But, when we've had some, big health emergencies and plot twists, that flight has been a savior. And the thing that shocked me, Frank, is it's full. It's full, and same thing.
There are that many people going from St. Louis to Des Moines.
Because
why would they cancel it then?
Because the airline says, and this is Rhonda Ham Nabriji, of course, our illustrious, the person who was in charge of the airport, said, yeah, they were taking so many complaints they can't handle it about this change. And people saying the same thing. I know somebody who works in the aerospace industry. They fly almost weekly to Wichita, which is a big deal in the aerospace engine. And they were saying, what's going on? For some reason, Southwest says we no longer want St. Louis to be a hub for these kind of flights. And a lot of the people on the flights are coming from other places. So if you're flying from Florida to Des Moines, you're coming through St. Louis. They want to direct people now through Chicago, which is a bigger hub, and make it a bigger hub. But that's not great for our airport because we lose all those transfer people coming through too.
All right, but here's the question. If you leave your house, get in the car to get to your parents' home in Des Moines, how long would that take as opposed to leaving your house, getting to the airport an hour and a half early, going through luggage, and what's the difference in time?
I think, to me, I always say if it's shorter than 5 hours, I'm going to drive it. If it's longer than 5 hours, I'll consider a flight if the price is right. So for us, it's usually a little bit closer to 6 hours. But the other thing for me is I can work when I'm flying.
That's true.
And I can't work when I'm driving. And so there's an advantage for me to be able to, while I'm waiting at the airport, to work.
Like, for instance, when we used to go to Chicago to watch Alex golf, we got on a train a few times, and it was nice. But boy, it's a long, they have stops and everything.
Chicago and Kansas City, I'd usually would just rather hop in my car because of that. I think you're right on the cusp of that, but you bring up a very good point. We got another good point for you. 3 Bay Barbecue and Bakery. Did you get to have the delicious food when they were here for the Mizzou kickoff? They catered our Mizzou kickoff party here.
Oh, yes. They're the best.
Yes, and we've already talked to Connor. He said that rib sandwich never disappoints. It's a saucy rib sandwich where they take the rib meat, put it in a perfectly curated sandwich with just the right amount of sauce. So good. Ran into somebody else the other day, said, where have those pork belly wraps been my whole life? So incredibly good. A friend of mine who doesn't eat red meat is still a huge fan. She says the smoked turkey is out of this world. You can order it ahead of time and get the entire turkey breast smoked for you. You have to put in your order 2 or 3 days ahead of time. She does it weekly now because it's just her favorite source of delicious and healthy turkey as well. So if you're catering an event, we're in kicking off football season and you want to make sure that you have the best food for that, you can reach out to them at 3 Bay Barbecue and Bakery at 3baybbqandbakery.com, or better yet, stop by. Of course, they're located, as you certainly know by now, in the back of the Phillips 66 station at Clayton Road and 141.
Your dentures no longer fit? Maybe you're missing a tooth or several teeth. Visit Dr. Bowen for Simply Secure Dentures and Dental Implants. The cutting-edge, high-quality dental implants that replace all the teeth in your mouth, and it starts as low as $7,000, not the $35,000 that others charge. If you're only missing a few teeth, Dr. Bowen can permanently replace those with something you don't have to take in and out of your mouth. Learn more at simplysecuredentures.com and get the care you need and the teeth you want at Bowen Dental Care or simplysecuredentures.com.
Truck drivers and owner-operators, there's never been a better time to team up at Schneider. We have more team-friendly loads than ever, including express delivery parcel freight that offers great miles with no delays to keep the wheels turning. Plus, for a limited time, company team drivers may be eligible for a sign-on bonus of up to $16,000. Owner-operator teams may qualify for a $10,000 incentive. Explore team driver positions at SchneiderJobs.com and search team contracting jobs at SchneiderOwnerOperators.com.
Hi, it's JJ from Spectrum Eyeglass Repair, the nation's leader in eyeglass repair. Is there a broken pair of sunglasses you thought were doomed to stay in the glove box? Are your glasses taped together, glued together? Bring them to Spectrum. We'll fix them. Spectrum Eyeglass Repair carries a large selection of pre-made clip-ons, cases, and accessories. We can custom make clip-ons to fit your frames. You'll like our service, and you'll love our prices, almost as much as you'll love our song. We're in Crestwood on Watson Road, and on the web at SpectrumEyeglassRepair.com. Now let's hear that groovy song one more time. Sing along with me. Spectrum Eyeglass Repair.
Hey, it's Heidi, and I've only sold 2 houses, but I know how stressful it can be. I also know the team at Lauren Risley Realty makes the entire process as easy as possible. I watched Lauren work with friends and my parents, and I can say she is top-notch. She doesn't just know the market, she knows what to look for in a home, and that includes red flags. And through all of it, she is calm, cool, and kind. So if you're in the market to buy or sell a home, or if you just have a question, call Lauren Risley Realty, 314-775-0684, or go to laurenrisleyrealty.com.
Brendan Weesey for AAA Home Services, a local family-owned and family-run American Standard heating and air conditioning platinum dealer that's been keeping St. Louis comfortable and safe for 55 years. They service all brands, so schedule them to service your AC. And if you need a new system, they'll give you a fair and honest estimate on American Standard, voted #1 by Consumer Reports. You'll get the best pricing and tax credits of 2025. Call AAA Home Services at 636-397-3200. Online at AAASTL.com. Call AAA. We're on our way.
Hey, Bill McDermott, our good friend, Mr. Soccer, he just texted me. He said he and Kevin Slayton announced the very first soccer game on ESPN that year in 1979. How about that? Yep, that's cool. All right, the texts have been great. Everybody talking about how good Stanley Tucci was.
You must have really liked this one. We talked about commercials that are no longer with us, but that we will always remember, kind of imprinted into our brains. Kelly LeBrock, the "Don't Hate Me Because I'm Beautiful."
Yeah.
You remember that one?
You think you could do that now?
Yeah, really. That way before there was Sydney Sweeney, there was Kelly LeBrock.
Wow.
Well, I mean, even at the time, I remember it was a little bit like it got made fun of a lot. Sure, because it pretty arrogant. But hard to argue with that kind of stunning beauty.
What would have been the most provocative commercial ever made?
That's funny that you would want to explore that. That's good. That's really good research topic. I think I like that.
Our texters could probably come up with something pretty
Yeah,
cool.
I bet they can. I don't have anything. What do you think it is? What comes to your mind?
Well, I mean, that Sydney Sweeney thing's kind of neat. What would be? What about from the male? Didn't the men wear the Calvin Klein underwear ads, or was that more of a
that was print ads? But yes, those would have been provocative for sure. How about the Fabergé? Was it Fabergé? The I can bring home the bacon and fry it up in a pan, and never let you forget you're my man. That was a catchy tune with an attractive person. Was that provocative?
Probably, yeah. That would be up there. Yeah.
That's the only one that comes to mind from the back in the day era. Oh, Brooke Shields in her Calvin Klein's, very good from the 314. As per usual, you guys are on top of it, and so are our friends at the Carney Show. Of course, John Carney, Julie Buck, Max Foisey coming up next. They got a great show. It's Restaurant Tuesday. Always love to hear from George Mahey, Dan Morin in as well. Heidi Glausch Show coming up as well, 3 to 6. Make sure you keep your dial right here. We have an excellent show coming tomorrow. Tarek Khan, Sarah Fensky. Make sure you plan to make an appointment to be with Frank and Jill tomorrow as well. Make it a great day, everybody.
Did you know that feeling sluggish or weighed down could be signs that your digestive system isn't working at its best? But taking Metamucil every day can help. Metamucil supports your daily digestive health using a special plant-based fiber called psyllium.